When you're selling your business, it's very important that you think about it with the mindset of a hunter rather than a fisherman. You know, a fisherman baits a hook, throws it in the water and waits, right? That's akin to a business broker putting a listing online and waiting for buyers to come. That's not what you want to do. It works for some businesses, but if you've got a differentiated middle market asset, it's typically a very bad way to do it. When I think about that sort of process, it's almost like the distinction between, let's say Sotheby's is going to auction off a Picasso, right? They could put 500 well-capitalized, extremely motivated art buyers in an auction room, or they can bring 500 people off the street and put it in an auction room. What do you think is going to perform better for the seller, right? The well-capitalized, sophisticated art buyers rather than the 500 random people taken from Midtown Manhattan. That's the difference between fishing and hunting. So as we build our acquisition universe, as we build our buyer pool, it's very, very important to spend more time on that than I think a lot of us would like to. I think for a lot of advisors out there, especially industry experts, you know, you've forgotten more than your client knows. And I know it's really easy to gloss over conversations that they may have had with folks that approached them over the years. And I also know that you're going to hear some asinine, ridiculous shit, right? Like I once did a deal where it was a $100 million tech business. And my client said, hey, you know, before we go out to market, I think we should add so-and-so to our distribution list because, you know, I see him at the convenience store every morning and, he would like to buy this business for his son, and I know he's got a lot of money, and I think this would be perfect, so I think he should be a buyer. And I'm thinking to myself, gets his coffee at the convenience store, runs into a billionaire. No, he was talking about the guy that actually owns and works at the convenience store. Wasn't an ideal buyer to have in a pool for a $100 million business. So I understand sellers are not used to this, and they're going to say some crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, go into it with a blank slate. So when I think about Nomor, from the very beginning, I wanted to sit down with the client, understand every private equity firm that I'd ever talked to them. I wanted to understand every strategic acquirer, and not just what happened, or not just who was it, but what was the conversation. And as we did that, we discovered that there was one acquirer that sat down with them for lunch or dinner and said, no one can create more value than us. No one can pay more for this business than us. And we would like you to avoid a formal process and just come to us when you're ready to sell, and we're going to write a huge check. We're going to do a preemptive offer. We're going to make you happy. So we discovered those things by asking questions. It's also important for sellers to sit back and think about what sort of firms can create value by buying your business. How can a large acquirer buy your business and leverage your technology? How can they get revenue enhancements based on some specific capabilities you have? How defensive might your acquisition be? You know, you've got two acquirers that can't afford to lose your geography. You're in a really good position. So it's important for you as sellers to take control of your financial health in the same way it's important for you as an individual to take care of your own personal health, right? It's like if you were to get an unfortunate diagnosis, and the doctor says, well, man, you're shit out of luck. Like, we've got to give you this chemo and do all sorts of stuff. I mean, are you really just going to sit back and say, sure, doc, I'll do it. I'll see you next time? No, I think a lot of us are going to say, well, okay, what is my problem? Do I need a second opinion? You'll get online, you'll read forums about individuals who've had this sort of disease, who've gone through treatment. You'll read medical journals. You'll understand treatment protocols. You will be an active participant in your personal health. You should be an active participant in your financial health. So, thinking through buyers, who's approached you? Who haven't you thought of? You know, put your thinking cap. Think about this. Think about, and it's okay to say crazy stuff. You know, at the end of the day, it's better that you come up with these ideas and talk to your advisor about it than not say anything, because you can miss the one acquirer out there that can create a tremendous amount of value and really give you a blockbuster deal.